Talk, and I'm Ria Tanwatco Trillo. We all love to capture moments through our cameras, but for extra special milestones, there's always that option of hiring a professional photographer. Now, if you want snapshots of your child's birth story, then there's a birthing photographer who can do just that for you. And here to tell us more about what she does and the birth photography services that she offers is Polly Fong of Oh Happy Day Birth Photography. Hi, Polly. Thanks for coming on the show.
Hi, thanks for inviting me.
Okay, how did you get your start as a birth photographer? And are you like the only one doing it? Because, you know, your work is the first that I've seen.
Actually, I'm the only one. No, actually, I'm not. I think a friend of mine is starting to do it as well. And then I heard that there's another girl who might be also. But I'm the only one I think who's actually actively marketed the service. And I started actually when I was pregnant 2 years ago with my son. I was looking around for photographers to like document my pregnancy. And I happened to be in the States, so I saw the websites there, and they actually do this sort of thing. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if it was the hormones, because I was pregnant, but when I saw the pictures, I started like practically bawling. I was really moved by the pictures. Yeah, and then when I got back, I just slowly got into photography and decided this year that I would focus on birth photography.
Right.
Since no one seems to be doing it yet.
Right. But prior to your discovery of, you know, birth photography, were you already taking pictures on a professional level?
Actually, when my son was born, that's when I started really liking pictures. I've always appreciated it in the sense that, like, back in college, I took it as an elective, but I never really went into it. And then, I guess, I don't know what happens when you give birth. I guess you become, like, my creative juices started flowing as well. Yeah, and then I got into it. Luckily, a friend of mine gave me a gift certificate to like one of the photography studios here. So when I took my son, she happened to be looking for an apprentice. So yeah, that kind of got the ball rolling.
Right. Okay. So, you know, for people out there who are not familiar with birth photography, maybe you can explain, because it's not just, okay, here's my newborn, let's put it in a basket or whatever. It's completely different.
Yeah. It's different from newborn photography in that it's a documentary style of photography. I mean, I don't pose the children, I don't pose the families. I'm really just there. It's almost like event photography, except that the event is the birth. And I mean, I always get two reactions, either, hey, that's really interesting, or yuck. Yeah. And so, I mean, I always tell them, I'm not down there in your business. Like, I keep things, I take more of the emotional side of things, not the medical aspect of it, not too much anyway. Right. Unless they really ask me to like be there, But generally, no, I'm not there.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, just thinking about like the actual logistics of doing this kind of photography, it's like you have to be on call 24/7, right?
Yes. I always tell my clients, like, the minute you feel something, like you might be going into labor, or if you call your OBGYN, like, let me know too.
Let me be the second person to call.
Yeah, like, put me on the, like, fast ring thing, because, like, you have to be letting me know. Generally, like, especially for normal deliveries, you're practically booking me 2 weeks before your ideal due date. So, like, 2 weeks before, I kind of know I could be on call anytime.
Right, okay. So you sort of have to block off that whole time.
Yes, which is why, like right now, I'm not really earning like that much from it, because I'm still introducing the concept. But then, yeah, in terms of like the amount of time I have to block, yeah, it's a lot of work. You know, I really should be charging more eventually, but then for now, it's like, I'm just trying to, you know, introduce the concept to people.
Exactly, and it is very new. Oh Happy Day Birth Photography started when?
Just this year, actually. I started, my first shoot was like end of January. And, you know, I just started like taking pictures last year, so I'm not even as professional as I would like to be. But, you know, thankfully there are people who seem to appreciate the pictures that I've been taking, so I've been quite lucky. Since January, I've shot about 7 deliveries.
Right.
Yeah, because you need like to space them out because of, you know.
Okay, and do you do only normal deliveries? Can you do C-section deliveries?
I do all kinds. I can even I want to do home births, and I've done one for a birthing center. because they, like for charity, they just do that sort of thing. So, yeah, I would like to do more cesareans and more normal births, except that it really depends also on whether the doctors will allow you or the hospitals. So yeah, I'm very respectful of that also.
Right, right. And how do you know, like, because you said it's a documentary style kind of photography,
Right.
like how do you know how to place yourself? It's a very emotional time
Right.
for everyone.
Yeah.
For first-time parents, they're kind of in semi-panic mode.
Right,
How do you
right.
fit in the whole scenario?
Well, that's why it's important for me to meet them before they even book me. Like, I want to make sure, more important for me is that they're comfortable with me. Because, like, I've given birth myself. So, I mean, you don't just invite people into something so intimate, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, when I'm there, I mean, once they book me and they both met me already, then, yeah, I mean, normally the people who do book me are very open-minded. And even if I say, like, I try to be unobtrusive when I shoot. In truth, like, a hospital room is only this small.
Right.
So, it's impossible to, like, bump into each other and stuff. But yeah, they're very understanding naman.
All right. Has it ever happened that there was like some kind of medical emergency that arose and you were there, and how did
Yes.
you deal with it?
That actually happened just recently. I was capturing a cesarean birth. And cesareans normally, they won't even allow you inside. I mean, some fathers aren't even allowed inside the delivery room. But then, like, this one, because luckily for me, the girl owned the hospital, so they let me in.
Nice.
Yeah, and, like, when the baby came out, she wasn't crying right away. So, the pedia took her, and after a while, I noticed, parang she's not crying, and everyone just kind of got quiet in the room. And I was like, oh, I think, like, there's a problem, but I wasn't sure. But at that point, like, I put my camera down. Yeah, so I make sure that, you really have to be sensitive to things happening, and if it's not appropriate to shoot, you don't shoot. I mean, that's my rule anyway.
Right.
So yeah, so I had to wait for a while, and then when things kind of normalized, that's when I started shooting again.
Okay, so the baby was fine.
Yeah, so the baby's fine. She's great. She's
Great.
beautiful, yeah.
Okay, now this kind of service obviously isn't for everyone. As you just
Right.
said, the parents need to be very open-minded. Can you sort of give us like a profile of the couples who have contracted your services so far?
Well, they're definitely, like, more westernized. Like, and they're the kinds of people who, I mean, usually they're more OC, like, they want to document everything in their
Okay.
life. So that's probably why they get me. Yeah, so they're more forward-thinking is what I would say.
Right, yeah, you have to be very open. And, you could probably also market this to the daddies who get really faint at the sight of blood.
I actually have, I don't know if they're about to show it, but there's a picture of a dad there, and I actually documented their second birth already. The first birth, he was behind the camera, and he only has one picture with a child. This dad.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they featured it in the paper, and he was just so happy that from no pictures from the first birth, and now he's like in the paper, and it really did a lot for me to make him feel that good. Like, I felt so good about what I was doing.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
Because my husband's the same. It was like, we just had maybe like 3 pictures in the OR, and hardly any of him in the pictures, right?
And just this morning, that cesarean I was telling you about, she texted me and she said, good thing I got you, because it was tense, naturally, right? Like, what happened, the baby wasn't crying right away. So she's like, if I had just left it to him to document, I'm sure, like, he probably nothing, because he was nervous too, right?
Of course,
so, yeah,
of course. Right.
So yeah, there are benefits to it, but I don't think it's for everybody, but for those who do appreciate it, like, the service is here.
Yeah, but I love it, like the candidness, in the photos. Like, I mean, this one they're looking, but the others are like, it's just someone just happened to be there with a camera and you really capture the whole thing.
Right, and the story is always different, because births, you can never really plan what will happen. So, like, some people tell me, like, they want the story to be about the babies first, like measurements and stuff. But then after that, I might not even be allowed in the nursery. So it becomes like more, the story changes. It'll be about older brother meeting the baby sister for the first time. So yeah, I mean, it always unfolds differently.
Right. And like, what kind of packages do you offer?
I have a full delivery package, which means I start from when you're in active labor, maybe like 4 cm. And then I have also just the pre and the post. So because probably I'm not going to be allowed in the delivery room. And the beauty about that, I mean, the reason I still want to capture pre is because, for example, like when you're in labor, you're in a lot of pain, and then your husband or your partner would be there to support you, and it's a very emotional thing to capture. So I like capturing that. And then I have the post-delivery package, which is a scheduled shoot after the baby's born.
Right, but still in the hospital.
Still in the hospital.
Right. Okay. And what are your plans for Oh Happy Day photography? As we said, you know, you're very new. Your business is baby.
Yes, very new.
You know, how do you plan on expanding that and honing
Right.
your skills?
Well, right now I'm just focusing on getting better at shooting, and just sort of, you know, I'm only seeing how the market's reacting to it right now because it's such a new idea. I mean, at least here. And then I do plan to like have more photographers on board with me. It's just not that easy because, like, you know, for the people who are hiring me, they have to meet me not just as a photographer but as a person to be comfortable with. So yeah, it has to be